Welcome to this week's weekly Pan-African News Roundup on the Kente Business Journal. Here we serve you with all the major news headlines across Africa and the African diaspora. My name is Rahel Akosua-Redua Opoku.
In today's headlines, Nigeria's presidential candidate Peter Obi to challenge presidential election results. And Burkina Faso has scrapped a 61-year-old military assistance deal with France. And illegal refinery blast in Nigeria kills at least 12 people. Now the news in details. In Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, the leader of the People's Democratic Party and Nigeria's presidential candidate, spoke to the press following the announcement by the Independent Nigerian Electoral Commission confirming his rival Bola Tinubu as the winner of the elections. According to him, the weekend election was neither free nor fair. Preliminary assessment indicates that it is the worst conducted elections since the return to democratic rule. The manipulation and fraud that attended this election was unprecedented in the history of their nation. It was indeed a rape of democracy, he added. President-elect Bola Tinubu from the ruling party received 37% of the votes in last weekend's election and will be Nigeria's first president to take office with less than 50%, analysts say. The main opposition candidate Atiku Abubakar won 29% of the vote, while third-place finisher Peter Obi of Labour Party got 25%, according to official results. Nigeria's presidential candidate Peter Obi, who came third in the February 25 election won by the ruling party's Bola Tinubu, announced Thursday that he would take his case to court to challenge the result. He said at a press conference in the capital Abuja that we will explore all legal and peaceful options to get our mandate back. Peter Obi, 61, a youth favorite, came third with 25% of the vote, a first in Nigeria's democratic history for an outsider from the two main political groups. The election, which was generally peaceful, was marked by delays in the counting of votes and major failures in the electronic transfer of results, angering many voters and opposition parties who claimed that the votes were massively rigged. Candidates who want to contest the election, however, have 21 days after the results are announced to file a lawsuit. An explosion on fire near an illegal oil refinery site in Nigeria's Niger Delta region killed at least 12 people Friday, police said. State police spokesperson Grace Koko said the explosion occurred along a pipeline targeted by illegal refinery operators who are trying to steal oil, adding that authorities were working to determine the number of casualties and the cause of the incident. People in the area told the Associated Press that dozens may have died in the fire that raged for hours, and that the victims were mostly young people who planned to siphon oil from a pipeline and to transport to an illegal refinery site in at least 5 vehicles. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission said last year Nigeria lost at least $3 billion worth of crude oil to theft between January 2021 and February 2022. Shady business operators often avoid regulators by setting up refineries in these remote areas. France President Emmanuel Macron reiterated on Thursday that Paris has no intention of returning to past policies of interfering in Africa. He arrived in Libreville on Wednesday at the start of a 4-nation African tour aimed at resetting relations with the continent. He said in remarks to the French community that in Gabon as elsewhere, France is a neutral interlocutor which speaks to everyone and whose role is not to interfere in domestic political issues. Macron's visit to 4 Central African countries come at a time when France finds itself facing a wave of hostility among its former colonies in the Sahel, forcing it to withdraw its troops. Ahead of his visit, he said there would be a noticeable reduction in the French troop presence in Africa in the coming months and a greater focus on training and equipping allied countries' forces. The United States is increasing its military assistance to Somalia as the country sees success in battling what the U.S. calls the largest and most deadly al-Qaeda network in the world. 61 tons of weapons and ammunition arrived Tuesday in Mogadishu, the U.S. said in a statement of support for a historic Somali-led military offensive against the al-Shabaab extremists that has recaptured dozens of communities since August last year. In a separate joint statement with other leading security partners, Qatar, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates and Britain, the US said they will support Somalia's effort to manage weapons and ammunition that could allow the United Nations Council Security to lift its arms embargo on the country. The government of Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud declared total war last year on the thousands of al-Shabaab extremists who for more than a decade have controlled parts of the country and carried out devastating attacks while exploiting clan divisions and extorting millions of dollars a year in their quest to impose an Islamic State. The US has an estimated 450 military personnel in Somalia after President Joe Biden reversed his predecessor Donald Trump's decision to withdraw US forces. The US supports Somali forces and a multinational African Union force with drone strikes, intelligence and training. And in Burkina Faso, the country has scrapped a 1961 agreement on military assistance with France, a move that comes only weeks after it told the French ambassador and troops supporting its anti-jihadist campaign to exit the nation. The agreement was forged between the then newly independent Republic of Upper Volta, as Burkina Faso used to be called, and its former colonial ruler. The Burkinabe Foreign Ministry said the Sahelian nation was given a month's notice for the final departure of all French military personnel serving in Burkinabe military administrations. On January 18, Burkina demanded France to withdraw its ambassador Luc Halade after he made comment about the country's security problems, was pulled out for consultations, and on February 19, the French flag was lowered on a base which hosted a special forces unit of 400 French men near the capital. The move marks a further downward spiral in relations since the military toppled Burkina's elected president last year. Following what has been thrilling Total Energies Under-20 African Cup of Nations Egypt 2023 quarter-final action, 4 African teams have booked their place in the semi-finals. Senegal, Nigeria, the Gambia and Tunisia all sealed their places in the last 4 phases. The Gambia produced the most elegant performance of the quarter-finals as they marched to a 5-0 victory over South Sudan, with Adam Abujang scoring a hat-trick on Friday. The other game of the day saw Tunisia defeating Congo 5-4 on penalties after extra time ended 3-3 to also secure their place in the semi-final. On Thursday, Senegal defeated Benin 1-0 to advance, while Nigeria also won by a similar scoreline against Uganda to progress to the last 4. The 2 semi-final matches will be played on Monday, 6 March 2023. Senegal take on Tunisia in the first match at the Suez Canal Authority Stadium in Ismailia at 1600 local time or 1400 GMT. The other semi-final game will see the Gambia facing Nigeria at the Cairo International Stadium at 1900 local time or 1700 GMT.
And that's it for this week's weekly Pan-African News Roundup on the Kente Business Journal. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell to stay updated always. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. Catch you next weekend as always.
Thank you very much for watching this video. Please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel Kente Business Journal TV and press the notification bell to stay updated always.